Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. It's my pleasure to welcome you back to Changemakers Bite Size, brought to you by SA Partners. This week, I'm delighted to introduce you to Nick Taylor, a consultant for us based out of the UK, for his Changemakers session today on bringing a vision to life. So, Nick, over to you.
Thanks, Jordan. Yes, hi, everybody. Thank you for coming along. And as Jordan mentioned, today we're going to talk about how to bring your vision to life and ultimately how do you take it from concept into realization within your business, a real critical part of making your business successful. So the sort of themes we're going to cover today, we're going to look at how do you create your story. Really important to develop a story of the business so that you can engage with people and equally get them to engage in what you're trying to do. You want to bring it to life by building systems. That is really important. We're going to talk about what are these systems and how do you use them in relation to a vision. And then the importance of leadership, really critical in being able to embed your vision and make sure it comes alive and is brought to life every day throughout the business. So let's have a look at how you actually create your story and what does it mean? So the development of a vision is something that people can engage with, and it needs to be something that is really relatable to the business, really relatable to the people as well. And often the best way to articulate this is through a story. And by a story, we literally mean read through and talk people through what it is that you're trying to do, as if the vision has already been achieved. So we're talking 3 to 5 years time in the future. What do you think the company will look like? What will it feel like? And you want to be able to talk people through that story in terms of how it feels and looks to you now and really bring it to life for them. We don't want a strap line. We don't want 1 or 2 bullet points. We want a proper story as if you're writing a book. And this is a really powerful way to align your team. Stay focused and keep yourself motivated, because actually they can grab onto this and it's something they can actually vision and see themselves. And the challenge you get in business, and we see this a lot in our roles as consultants, is the corporate vision can become lost. It just becomes a strap line. It's stuck on the wall somewhere, or it lives in a desk or drawer somewhere, or it's marketed to the public, but it doesn't mean nothing to the people who try to live and breathe it every day in your business. And actually, you want to be able to connect with them on a daily or weekly basis to keep it alive. And today we're going to talk about how you do all this and what it means. So let's talk about this through the context of our enterprise excellence model. Now, we really believe and have proven through our clients that we work with that this approach is a really, really good way to make sure this works in your business. And you want to start off with your purpose. You want to set the long-term vision, develop the purpose of the business. And again, going beyond the strap line, we're talking about a purpose statement. We're talking about critical success factors and KPIs that you can tangibly measure to ensure that you're moving towards your vision. You want to create alignment between your processes and your purpose to ensure that what you do every day is driving towards that purpose to make the change happen. You want to engage the people in the purpose, the people who are going to make the vision successful, the people who are going to live and breathe the vision every day. And then finally, you want to identify the improvement projects that are required to bring this vision to reality. And through great alignment between your process and your purpose, through strong engagement through your people and your purpose, you can drive real improvement. And this improvement is the steps you're going to take to bring this vision to reality, this story, to bring it to life. So how do we go about this? Well, there's 5 key points we want to explore. As I said, you want to set the long-term vision and story, 3 to 5 years in the future, write it out, turn it into a story and play it back. You want to break this story then down into shorter horizons called missions, because a 3 to 5 year strategy, maybe even a 10-year strategy, is too far for people to engage with. It's too far in the future for people to want to tangibly grab hold of it. So if you break it down into these shorter horizons or these missions that are typically 1 to 2 years in the future, people can engage with this, and it actually makes it easier for you to break down the really hard things you want to achieve in the future into smaller, more manageable chunks. You then want to identify the key projects or deliverables that are needed to get to your first mission horizon. So within the next 1 to 2 years, what do you need to do? What's the key things you need to do out of your vision story to be able to get to that first horizon before you move on to your next? And then you want to operationalize this vision through KPIs and management systems. This is critical to allow the vision to come to life, but also to manage the delivery of this vision over the next 1 to 2 years across the mission horizon. And finally, you want to communicate this vision relentlessly communicate it every opportunity, but be honest with it and be humble with it, because authentic leadership is the bit that's going to separate you from the rest and is going to allow people to engage with you. And that real humble nature of how you communicate what you want to do with the team and with the business is what's going to allow them to engage. Well, how do you create your story? Well, first of all, write it out as if it's already happening, okay? And I talked about this earlier, but I can't stress enough. Write it out as if it's already happened. You need to spend some time thinking about what it is that you want to happen, but I want you to articulate that story as if you were walking through the business and the objectives are achieved. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And detail it. The devil is in the detail with these things. And I want you to talk about how you see it and how they're being used. But also, really importantly, I want you to engage with the teams in the business to get their input on the future. You build your vision story with the people who are going to allow it to become successful. And then write it as if it's part of a book. Genuinely write it out as if it's part of a book and make it relatable and realistic. Don't make it beyond the realms of technology that exists now. You're going to change the world. Make it realistic that you can actually achieve. And it's based on feedback from the business of what they want to see from the vision. And don't be afraid if it's a few pages long. And I mean, and I've seen really, really good versions of this where it's actually put into a small book, 5 or 6 pages long, communicated through the business. And the detail is what's going to help you deploy this into your business. And then you talk people through it and you communicate this story. Don't be afraid if it's a few pages long. It doesn't have to be a single sentence strapline, okay? We're beyond that now. This transcends single statements. So once we know then a little bit around what our story is and how to create our story, how do you bring it to life? Because actually, whether you write it in a book or whether you write it on a piece of paper or whether you write it digitally, it doesn't really mean anything unless you bring it to life. And you need the systems to help deliver that. So to reiterate what we talked about, okay, we want to break this vision story down into key deliverables, okay? This is going to be a key part of how we bring our systems into this process to deliver it. You need to break it down into smaller, more manageable chunks. Then you want to break down these horizons into these 1 to 2 year missions, okay? And I'm going to repeat this throughout this session today because it's critical. Otherwise, you're going to lose people if you try to change the world in 5 years' time. Operationalize the vision through the development of meaningful KPIs. We're going to show you what that means now. And then deploy it through the management systems, okay? These are really key parts of how you can bring it to life. You turn it from a sentence, from a book, into real life activity. So what are these management systems we talk about, okay? So we've got a strategy deployment system. This is about how do we take our story, our vision story, and turn it into real life? How do we deploy it through the business? How do we create KPIs? And how do we measure the success of it, the strategy of delivery? We then have our tiered management system. And this is about, well, how do we take the KPIs in our strategy deployment and feed them through the business through a structured, rigorous approach of delivery? And then finally, you get your problem solving and improvement system. Because the problem solving and improvement system is what's going to formulate the actual projects that need to be done to bring the vision to life. It's going to create the ownership and accountability in the business for the delivery of these projects. And it's also going to allow you to create the project management approach that you want to take. And these 3 signature systems are, when working together, create the process that will allow you to bring your vision to life. Now, these go beyond vision statements and can be used throughout your business as how you manage the way you deliver anything. And we're applying this to how you're going to bring your vision to life. And it's critical to make it work. And I've worked with many businesses over my career who've used this approach, and it's been really successful. So first thing you're going to have to do is design your approach. I think anyone would agree that we need to figure out what we're going to do before we go and do it. So break this down into these short-term horizons, 1 to 2 years. Each of these shorter-term horizons are designed to allow the business to see that it's achievable and to prevent overburden of our teams. We can't be asking the team to do a lot more activity on top of their daily roles. It's never going to work. It's going to break down and ultimately will fail. Create the purpose statement for each of these short-term missions and the critical success factors that will enable the delivery of the plan. So a purpose statement is a key part of your strategy deployment system and creates the anchor at the top of the business that everything can be deployed from. And it's split into these 3 steps. Your first one is your we will statement. And this is your mission statement. And usually would go something like, we will be the best that we can be for our customers. And then you come to your by statements. And these are your critical success factors. And by critical success factors, we literally mean, what are the things you need to be really good at that you need to nail if you want your mission statement to be successful? And these might be things like, we will deliver fantastic service for all our customers by always delivering on time, by delivering on our KPIs, by creating financial stability. They are statements of what you need to be really good at. And then you move into your in order to statement. And this is the link back to the vision story. So you end up with something that says, we will be the best that we can be for our customers by delivering on our KPIs, by driving financial performance in order to, then you link it back to your vision story. And this creates the connection back to the strategy. You can then use this and feed it into your tiered management system to start to create the branches that you need within your business to allow the vision to become reality. Once you then want to go and identify the key deliverables or projects that enable the delivery of the mission horizon and theme them. So take your purpose statement, work out your key deliverables, and then theme them into programs. And these might be things like digital capability, financial stability, customer service, human resources and people strategy. The themes are the things that you need to do. Create programs and use them in the business. You could end up with something that looks a bit like this. You get your vision story at the top. We've already talked about it. This is your 3 to 5 year, could be 10-year plan. Your story that's written out that you're cascading and communicating through the business. Split out into these 1 to 2 year mission horizons that will talk about what you're going to do immediately here and now. You're going to identify the key deliverables and you're going to theme them into programs like digital capability, financial performance and beyond. And that will allow you to then look at the projects that you need to work on in order to deliver each of these programs. And then you start to develop this tiered approach in your business and how you're going to deliver this vision approach. So once you've done your purpose statement and you've identified your critical success factors, these then need to be measured. They need to be turned into key performance indicators. And these key performance indicators are going to be critical for you to be able to visualize and identify where the vision is coming to life and where the opportunities where the vision is not working so well. And these are the tangible measures you feed into your tiered management system to enable the delivery of the plan. Some examples, you may have a critical success factor of developing great people, relentlessly increasing availability, bringing to market best products. These are statements. You then need to go look at your business and create the measures that enable the delivery of these critical success factors. And in relation to your vision story, these KPIs are going to be key. It might be delivering a milestone in financial performance. It might be reducing costs so you can reinvest into your capital expenditure for your business. It may even be in new technology, new performance benchmark set in the business if you're manufacturing or you're in the service sector. But the KPIs need to be identified in order for you to feed these into the system before the system will work. So tiered management is the approach of how we're going to manage it. It's a simple mechanism of deployment through your business, working in layers, exactly like the images show here. You start with your executive team and you deploy through the business right through to the front line. Now, this is key because it makes sure everyone's aligned and engaged and working on the right things. If you're going to make the vision story and the delivery of your vision over the next 3 to 5 years the most important part of the business, because you've said it's critical to its success, then everybody needs to be focused on it and only working on the parts that drive the value in your vision. And a tiered management system will allow us to make sure that is happening. You don't want to go crazy with it though, 10 layers. You want to be keeping it quite simple. 3 to 5 layers is enough. And seeing as we're applying this to a vision delivery approach and not a typical business management approach, you don't want to go too deep into the business with lots and lots of layers. Keep it quite light, and 3 to 5 should be enough. And then as you progress into the tiers, you want to increase the amount of frequency you do. And as you move back up into the business, you want to reduce the amount of frequency. So at the top tier, your executive team monthly meetings would be enough. And as you get down to the front line, you're starting to talk daily meetings, starting to talk weekly meetings in order to create the right frequency and the right KPI discussions happening at the right levels in the business. These are examples of the sorts of things you could see from a tiered management approach, and they're usually manifested in the version of a visual management board. And these can be physical, as these are, as you've seen, and these are traditional KPI-based boards. But these days, you move into a more digital-based management process, and there are project management systems out there you can use to create dashboards and to manage it virtually, particularly if you work in a virtual environment. Don't underestimate the power, though, of getting people together, whether virtually or physically, and discussing progress at all the different levels of the business. That is where you bring the engagement in, and that's how you create the momentum of your vision story. So we come to the improvement and problem solving system as well. Well, again, break the mission horizon down into its key deliverables and feed this into the tiered management system. But none of this really means much unless you have a mechanism for delivery. Now, I'm sure you all are aware there's so many different types of project management approaches out there. You've got Agile, you've got Scrum, Six Sigma. There's so many different types, Prince2 type management. You need to design the approach that works for you. You don't want people going off and working on different projects in different ways, using different approaches. The goal here is standardization and consistency to a common and aligned goal, which is the vision story. And take the time before you go live with your projects to design the project management approach. A few years ago, I was working with a large wine bottler in Bristol, and they were introducing this approach. And it was identified that we needed a consistent project management approach. And they were talking about Agile, and they were talking about lean methodology and all the different types of project management approaches they could come up with. But what we actually ended up doing was designing something quite bespoke using the DMAIC framework of design, measure, analyze, improve, and control, and keeping it really, really simple so that everyone could follow this approach no matter what level of the business they were working in, no matter what type of capability they had, and they allowed that consistency. So don't underestimate these little bits of information like designing your project management approach, which I can almost guarantee you would forget to do if you don't follow a structured approach. Once you've designed all that and you've got that up and running, you can then assign the owners for each of your projects. So you end up with your mission statement, you end up with your programs and themes, you end up with your projects, and you end up with people owning each part of these within the business and owning each of the different tiers. And this is what it could end up looking like. So you'd have your vision story here, which is your 3 to 5 year plan, maybe longer. You have your mission horizon, so your shorter term 1 to 2 year plans. And you have your purpose statement associated to each of these mission horizons, because that purpose statement will change depending on what the goal of that particular mission is. You'll have your critical success factors identified for the delivery of that mission, and you'll have them turned into key performance indicators for how you're going to measure the delivery of this vision. You have them all themed into different categories within the business, and we'll create the programs which you will create ownership on. And then you'll have the projects that enable the delivery of these programs, that allow the delivery of the horizon, that allow the delivery of the vision. And these all work through this tiered management approach. And I've just followed a simple three tiered approach. I haven't got any deeper than that, doesn't need it. This is about engaging people and keeping it simple, allowing issues to be escalated to the top if needs be, but more importantly, allowing the vision to be deployed and communicated through the business and through the tiers and managed through the tiers. So let's talk about the importance of leadership, because without leadership, none of this can work. You can have a great story and you can have some great tiered management approaches and strategy deployment and lots of boards everywhere with KPIs everywhere, but if it's not being backed up, reinforced and owned by your leadership team, it's never going to come to life. And they are the people, the generals, if you want, of the army, that will be out there bringing that vision to life with the teams in the business. So your leadership team need to become the champions of the vision. They have to become the champions of the vision. And you need to take quite a concerted approach at how you engage them in this. Now, we know from lots and lots of experience that the best way to get people to engage in something is to collaborate with them and allow them to create the vision themselves, and then create the delivery plan with them people. They will own it more if they feel they've got a stake in it, they've got some skin in the game, and they feel like it's part of their vision too. So collaboration will be absolutely key in the overall delivery and setting up of your plan and engaging your leadership team. This then allows you to allocate areas of delivery for accountability. Let's face it, these are your senior leadership team. These are the people responsible for the success of your business. They run key parts of your business, and they need to be accountable for the delivery of the programs that you're giving to them. This won't be something they'll be unfamiliar with, and as a senior leadership team, they'll probably already have the skills on how to manage this. Use them, work with them, collaborate with them, and they will become the ambassadors of this. I've seen this done really well in lots of organizations. And when the leadership team really own the program, it actually becomes really, really easy to deliver on, because as a senior leader, or maybe the owner of the business, or somebody who's sat right at the top of the business, you only need to coach the program leaders. You only need to work with the program leaders, and it makes it much easier for you to bring that vision to life. And communication is the answer. Let's not underestimate the power of communication, okay? Relentlessly communicate it. And I'm talking town halls, I'm talking face-to-face communication, I'm talking getting out there in the Gemba, walking around the site, talking to your teams about your vision, but also getting their feedback on what they think the vision means to them. Really, really important. And please go for it with your communication. What I've seen it done really, really well is where senior members of the business have gone and walked the business, talked to the business, and they've done things face to face. Collaborate with your suppliers. Now, your suppliers will be the key to whether this vision comes to life or not. Because if you're going to talk about enhanced performance, you're going to talk about capital investment, you're going to talk about new technology at never before seen levels for your customers, you need to ensure your suppliers are on board with what you need from them. So host collaborative events, create partnerships with them, talk them through your mini book, your story, talk them through it, talk them through the project plan, bring them in, ask them if they want to be part of the project delivery team, create mutual benefits that they will get benefit from themselves that might grow their marketplace position. And this allows you then to break down any barriers with key stakeholders or suppliers that externally influence your business as well. You're trying to open every door possible to make this vision a reality and to make it as easy to deliver as possible. And then brand it. Genuinely create a brand within the business and make it incredibly accessible. And I don't mean just stick it on the wall. Yes, that's got a place. And yes, having it visual on dashboards and on visual management boards and, on screensavers is important and part of it. But actually, make it a real tangible brand that everybody can talk about and knows, and all improvement is aligned to. And then get it out and about in the business. Get your teams going home and talking to their family about it, because that is what you want. You want that level of ownership and engagement from your teams in order to ensure that they bring it to life, because these are the ones that are going to bring it to life and deliver it in your business. So what can you do today? There's a couple of things I want you to go away and do. I want you to identify your vision story and set the delivery plan. What does it look like to you? Identify what you think your story is, and then have a look at what you think the plan might be, the framework, as we talked about today. What systems would you use? And then I want you to go and build that story. Take some time out and then go and write your story, 4, 5, 6 pages long. How would it look? Imagine you're walking around the business. How would it look and feel in 3 to 5 to 10 years from now? And then I wanted to host a town hall to talk to the business about what you want to do, virtually, face-to-face, whichever works. But I want you to launch this with your team without the story finished, because then you can start to embark on the journey of asking them what they believe they would like to see from the business. Because then you can take that information and feedback, build it into the future story, and then create your ultimate vision, statement, and plan. And then you can use all the good stuff we talked about today and get it going and running in your business. And that's everything today on how to build a vision, how to bring it to life, how to use storytelling, something I've got lots of experience in, something I'm really passionate about, and the engagement of people is critical to the delivery of this. Please feel free to reach out to me at any point with my details on the screen. Really happy to talk to you about it. I think it's something we're really good at and something we can really help you with, and it's ultimately critical for the success of your business going forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nick. Another great session there for Changemakers Bite Size, and a lot to think about there. Just a reminder that we do continue next week with our next session of John Quirk, Defining the Behaviours That Matter. So everybody make sure that you sign up for that one. And I look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.